I just wanted to share something of value with you real quick because I know you're busy. Whether you love your job or you hate your job, I want to share with you some strategies that could. So let's say you love your job. You might be stale, right? Let's be honest. You love going to work. You love the people you work with. You love the work you do. You might be a little bit stale. This is going to help you take whatever you want to do with your career to the next level. Now, if you hate your job, I hear you. I have been in those situations several times. Look, I love what I do as a speaker and a life coach. I love getting in front of the audience. I love working one on one with people. I love sharing with people how to be an incredible leader, how to have a great quality of life, how to look and feel amazing, how to be healthy. But there are things that I have to do in my business, in my job, that I don't love. Let me share a story with you. About 8 years ago, I was at a low, one of the low points in my life. Maybe you could relate. And I just felt depressed. I felt kind of hopeless. I didn't know what the purpose of it all was. My marriage was struggling. My three children were starting to get older. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that, a lot of responsibility. And I was at a crossroads where I just didn't know what I wanted to do. By training, I'm a physical therapist, I'm a nutritionist, and then I started a corporate wellness leadership speaking business, and working with a lot of school districts now too, which is so awesome. So 8 years ago, I had to get a job. I had to get a full-time job because the speaking world, the economy was different. I wasn't able to support my family. I had to get a full-time job. And I did so, honestly, kicking and screaming. I didn't want to do it. Long story short, so I literally pull up to this job and everything negative. I hate this neighborhood. I'm going to hate these people. I'm better than this. My ego was starting to take control. And I don't know why I have to be here. Why does everyone else seem to be having a better life? All the stuff that you and I can be saying to ourselves when we're throwing a pity party. I'm not judging and I'm not being hard. It's just that just is not helpful, but it happens for a reason and it happens to us. So we have to just acknowledge that. So thank God, about 8 years ago, I met Frank, my therapist. You might have heard me refer to him. And here's what he told you. I just want to give you this right away. Here's what he said. Peter, if you go to this job and look at it like you just shared with me, it's beneath you, you're better than this, why aren't you more successful? Why are you at this place in your life? Why aren't you making more money? Why don't you have that house, that car, that vacation home? Then you're going to come to a conclusion. And that conclusion is going to hurt you because you're not going to come. The way he said it was not judgmental. And he gave me the options. He goes, if you think your life sucks, then it sucks, basically, is what it came down to. If you look for the bad, you will find it. Now, you can do that at work. You can do that at home. You can do that in your relationships. You can do that in your health. You can do that in your community. You can do that with the media. If we look for the bad, we will find it. So if that's true, then the opposite has to be true. And that's what Frank helped me understand. If I look for the good, if I really look, if I'm authentically saying, what's the benefit of what's happening to me right now, then I will find it. It will come to me. Whether you believe in God, I believe in a higher power. You don't have to. If you just have a faith and a belief, something that you've come to at the most difficult times in your life, or that has helped you through whatever that is, that's something to tap into. So Frank helped me find purpose. He helped me drive up to that job, park my car, grab my bag and my lunch, walk in through that front door without being miserable and hating my life most of the time, and finding purpose. And one of the purposes was I was there to learn. I was there to learn from the people that I interacted with, the experiences that I had. And man, did I learn. Now, I resisted. Don't get me wrong. I didn't all of a sudden say, wow, Frank, that's brilliant. That makes so much sense. I'm going to do it. I resisted because I was resentful. That all goes back to childhood. You might have some of this stuff too, where we don't have time to go into that. But I was resentful, so I was resistant. But there were moments when I said, okay, I'm gonna play along with Frank. I'm sitting in my office. A patient is coming in. What is this patient supposed to teach me? And when I did that, my life changed because I met people that I believe a higher power or a higher purpose specifically carried to that office on that particular day, sat them in front of me in my office. And that human being and I connected, and that person taught me. I have some of my closest friendships from that experience from 8 years ago. It was one of the most rewarding professional experiences in my life. I made money. I was struggling financially before that. I made money. I was able to support my family. I was able to pay off some debt. And that's all because, so I got to love my job, even though it wasn't the purpose of my life. I got to love my job, which I hated, because I was able to just, because of Frank's encouragement, twist what it meant to be there. Instead of I'm a loser or I hate everyone or I'm better than this, those are all things that literally went through my head. I was able to say, okay, let me be patient, let me believe in the process, and let me see what am I supposed to learn. So my purpose was to connect with other human beings, to hear their stories. This was very personal for me, to understand their challenges, their suffering, their goals, their aspirations, and to see some of them were rich, some of them were poor, and it was everything in between. To see, oh my God, we are so much more alike than not alike. Like, the nonsense the media is trying to tell us that everyone that doesn't agree with everything you say is your enemy. They're out to get you. That's nonsense. The color of people's skins, their gender, their race, it's nonsense. We're all connected. We all have such similarities. That's what I found over these 8 years. We might not look like each other. We have grown up in different homes, different countries, different traditions, different experiences, different family structures, yet we all crave similar things. We want to be loved. We want to love. We want to do good in the world. We want to be recognized for the good that we want to do in the world. So I always say, just go right to the source of what you want. You want to love and be loved. So I want to go right to that source. So I was able to turn a job that I hated into a learning experience. I knew it was temporary. And if I just sat quietly enough, if I observed enough, if I just had faith that something would come of it, and then lo and behold, good things happened to my life, meaning I had these relationships. I was validated from these relationships. I felt purposeful. I had meaning in the work that I was doing, even though I knew it wasn't my life's mission, my ultimate, my raison d'être, the opus. I knew that it was serving a purpose for what I'm doing right now with you right now, talking to you about this, sharing that experience. I also want to remind you too, and I was just talking to a client about this and a family member at the same time. It's always darkest before the dawn. You've heard this before. It is so hard to go through some of the things you and I are going through right now. Waking up in the middle of the night, maybe panicked, maybe anxiety, maybe short of breath, you can't breathe, you don't see a way out. How are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to help your children? How are you going to improve your health? How are you not going to die from a disease? These are all things that I've experienced personally and that I hear from my clients, that you and I have this incredible, incredible capacity. But sometimes we just get caught up in what we're doing. We get caught up in the anxiety. That's why I talk to all of my audiences about anxiety and managing anxiety. If we can just get to purpose, finding why am I here? And this is something else that Frank taught me. The purpose and the why. The why are you in the job you're in right now will never be negative. It will never be because you're lazy, because you're stupid, because you're a loser. It'll never, the why will never harm you. It will only benefit you. And there's power and beauty in that. And that you and I can come up with what we believe is the reason for our struggles. You can call it suffering. Frank encouraged me, you can call it suffering, Peter, or you can call it a challenge, you can call it a struggle. because you want to overcome those things. Suffering can denote something else. So be careful of the language that you're using and how you're labeling how you're feeling or the experiences that you're going through, because they're temporary. You know they're temporary. So you can look at the way you and I are looking at where we are right now makes all the difference. And just I encourage you to interpret whether you love your job or hate your job. Sit quietly, work with a therapist, meditate, do yoga, go for a run, blast music, go to the mountains, go to the beach, go to the park down the street, go to a quiet place in your home right now and reflect, why am I here right now in this job, in this life, in this relationship, in this home, wherever it is? And that reason that you come up with can only benefit you. So you love your job, you hate your job, you found a reason. Okay, I'm supposed to be here right now. We're that far together, right? Now what? Now how do you go to the next level? Now you use that information, whatever you came up with. I am here. So I'll give myself as a perfect example again. 8 years ago, I am here to learn from these people, these wonderful people that look like they have absolutely nothing in common with me. They're going to teach me. And now I'm going to take that information about how they overcame adversity, how they overcame literally rape, murder, death, loss, bankruptcy, and I'm going to see how they survived. I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to share it with you and my audiences and my life coaching clients to say, you're not alone. If you're struggling, if you don't like where you are, even if you love where you are, you're not alone. And if you want to find purpose and meaning in your life, ultimately happiness and fulfillment, then it's looking at some of these strategies that I'm sharing, because you and I have the ability to do that right now. You can't control anything else. You can't control people on the highway cutting you off. You can't control people in line at the grocery store, how they're going to react to you. But you and I can control three things: our thoughts about how we are right now and why we're here. We can control what we're going to eat today. Thank God most of us have that power. And we can control how we're going to move our bodies. You can call it exercise. You can call it movement. Those three things. Think about it. Thoughts, what we're going to eat, and how we're going to move our body. Those are the only things that you and I have control over every single day. So I want you to nurture that. I want you to nail it, because you cannot control your boss. You cannot control your employees. You could influence people. You can motivate people. You could inspire people by being the change you want to see. That's what Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. But you can't control them. You know that. But you can control yourself. And through controlling yourself, interpreting what's my purpose in this job right now? What's the good? What good can I do? What benefit for myself, for my family, the people that I love, the people that I serve can come from this right now? And when you do that, I guarantee you email me, text me, call me, message me, and tell me this is not true. When you wake up in the morning and you're in that mindset, it's going to be easier to get out of bed, to get in the shower, to do the workout, to take the walk, get dressed, get in the car, or walk to work, however you get there. It's going to be a little bit easier because now you're focused on something different. You're focusing on the good that you're going to do in the world, and you're not thinking about all the things that you could be upset with or disappointed with, or ultimately what it comes down to is feeling bad about ourselves. I hope that makes sense. Listen to this again, reflect on this, pray, meditate, whatever it takes for you to hear something and then to interpret it as your own and then apply it into your life. Do that. I encourage you to do that. Reach out to me. I love hearing from you. If I can speak to your company or your school district, or if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you have a child that's struggling, especially with anxiety, I love working with young adults. Reach out to me. Until next time, I'm Peter.